Well, hello again, everyone, and welcome to our latest webcast that we're bringing you from Travel Weekly as part of our Roadmap to Recovery series. And I'm joined again today by Steve Byrne, who is the Chief Executive of Travel Counsellors. He's been with me before. I bet, Steve, we didn't think we'd still be doing these Zoom calls, did we? But here you are again. It's lovely to see you. How are you?
Very good. It's good to be with you again. And we're looking forward to being able to get together, aren't we, face to face, soon as possible.
Oh, absolutely. I totally agree. Well, listen, I suppose that brings us on quite nicely because we probably didn't expect this pandemic, any of us, to go on as long as it has. We're recording this right at the end of the summer. And so I just wanted to get a gauge really of how things have gone for Travel Counsellors since we last spoke to you. I mean, it wasn't the summer that we were hoping for, but have you seen things pick up at all? How are things, how's everyone faring?
I think when we discussed last time, this thing hit us, didn't it, like a meteor, 16, 17 months or so ago, and none of us knew how long it would last. We probably didn't expect it would last this long. And one of the things that you learned as things developed is that no matter how prudent you might be in your thinking and planning, that you probably need to be even more prudent. So we learned from what happened last year, and in our planning for this year, we were very prudent about this summer. I remember we do long haul and short haul, and we do leisure and corporate. So we were prudent about this summer. The way we've financially managed and run the business, we hadn't factored in any material overseas travel this
right. Okay.
So we'd factored in some summer business, but because we pivoted the business to a lot of UK business, so we've actually performed much better than we expected, but our starting point was pretty low in terms of expectation.
Yeah.
But there's no doubt that there's been ups and downs, haven't there, for everyone. But the general momentum, if you look at the trend from July and from June, July, August, and even last week, that the overall trend is one of steady improvement. And you've got two interesting, I think, reference points on that. The actual number of people who've gone on holiday this summer is way down on where it was pre-pandemic. So 40% of what we were all previously doing before the pandemic hit, but it was much better than we expected. And on a booking basis now, the leisure part of the business in the UK, we're now looking at 75-80% of pre-pandemic levels, and that's without all parts of the world, fully open to travel. So better than expected. Still way below what we would have wanted compared to 2 years or so ago in terms of people who've gone on holiday this summer. But bookings, both for the remainder of this year and to next year, are starting to pick up really solidly, and hopefully that's good news and encouraging for everyone.
Yeah, and you say it was building, I guess, from July, August to where we are now. And has that really followed the traffic light reviews? Have you seen spikes when they've come in? Is that sort of added to confidence, and obviously new destinations being added to the green and amber list?
Yeah, I think you've got the new countries being added to the list, and then the timing of announcements, and then a general improving in confidence and an awareness of what it takes to travel. But all the people who are listening to this will have seen it too, that there is a direct, huge correlation between a government announcement and then demand for that destination. I think our inquiry levels for Dubai were up by 400% as soon as that announcement came out. And I think because you do have more people traveling now, and they're sharing their stories of what that process has been like, an experience that they've had. You can travel, you can go away and have a great holiday and come back safely with great memories, and people sharing that with family and friends. So I think the general momentum now for us, for everyone, I think is improving and improving quite significantly, I think.
Yeah, and so that's building confidence. But what are the barriers still? I mean, other people have told us it's still the perception that you said there that actually we're hearing how it can be quite straightforward and people are going away and having a good time, but there still seems to be the perception that it's complicated. There's that fear factor that things might change, as they have done quite quickly. And then that whole thing around testing, which is still expensive and complicated. So are they still the things that are, by and large, the things that are worrying your customer base?
I think there's no doubt that cost of testing is an economic barrier, isn't it, for some people to travel, but it's an opportunity for us, isn't it? And it's a great opportunity for everyone in the travel industry and experienced sales consultants who have had a really difficult and challenging time over the course of the past 16 months, like our travel counsellors have, to make the process of booking and going on your holiday or trip as frictionless and painless as possible, and the journey is worthwhile. And a trusted travel advisor, a really good experienced travel agent can play and is playing a hugely important role in taking that worry away from the customer. And then when you do that, then the customers will validate the service that they've received. I mean, there's absolutely no doubt that as a customer, you're going to get a better experience if you booked it with someone who can handhold you through all of the things that you now have to do. But those things can be done, and you can do them and tick all the boxes and have a great holiday. And we didn't have those stories and those anecdotes 2 or 3 months ago in the numbers that we wanted, but we're getting more of them now. Now, listen, we're not back to where we were, are we? But I've always felt, and we've talked about this, the great positive thing that we had as an industry is that the customer sentiment and demand and appetite and desire to travel was always greater than where the government was at in terms of the ability to help people and let people travel. And as soon as the government advice caught up with customer sentiment, then customers in increasing numbers, not everyone immediately, but in increasing numbers, would want to go and experience all the wonderful things that the world has to offer. And we are seeing that, but we're not fully there yet, but we are seeing that, and that's got to be encouraging for everyone.
Yeah, you mentioned the government there being a little bit slow and having to catch up with customer sentiment. What would you have seen the government do differently, Steve? I mean, I know that's a broad question because they've been, it's been a long 18 months, hasn't it, with lots of decisions that they've made that have impacted on us. But perhaps more recently, would you like to have seen something that would maybe save the summer more than it has?
I think when you're sort of thinking about where you are with a question like that, everyone's thinking about their own business and their own self-interest, and the answer therefore, depending on where you are as a company and your model and how you set up and how you finance yourself. But bigger than that really is, what does it mean for customers and what does it mean for people? So we're a customer-faced business, like most travel companies are. We love sending people on holiday. We love arranging their corporate travel so they have a great time. So you want a system that is easy as possible for customers. I think customers have now broadly got their heads around the traffic light system, but the variations of the traffic light system were clearly unhelpful, weren't they? It wasn't just red, amber, green. It was a number of other variations thereof. And then you've got the complexity that you've got a UK system that people might understand, but then what happens when you arrive may be completely different from destination to destination. So I think we would all want to make the process as simple as possible for a customer, so a customer can book securely, safely, understanding what's required, so that the customer can have a good experience both in booking and when they go away. So I think it could have been simpler from a customer point of view. And then equally as important is what's it all meant for our people. And there hasn't been dedicated support for the travel industry, but there's absolutely no doubt, and you speak to anyone independent, everyone understands that the travel industry has been hit in the most profound, if not the most profound way by this commercially. There hasn't been that dedicated support. There's been general support that we've been able to draw, and in our model there has been support available to self-employed people, but there have been important numbers of people who have not been able to draw on any support whatsoever. So owners of limited companies, etc. Part of the forgotten 3 million that have existed, that support hasn't been forthcoming and isn't likely to be forthcoming. So that's why we've tried to do what we can as as a community to step in and support people and handhold in lots of different ways, financial and non-financial. So I think greater simplicity would have helped. More care and consideration for the customer. I think to be a customer when you're in resort and find out that the status of that resort is changed instantaneously is horrific, and was horrific for people. So we understand why the decision was taken, but we were thinking about people's experience and care when they were doing that. So if there are any more changes like that, we just hope, don't we, that you give people some time and respect to get their heads around the change and be able to cope with that. And I would just, as we are doing constant lobbying to make sure that when you're making these decisions for health reasons, think about the impact they have on people in a much broader way, both mental health, economic well-being, and the customer experiences as well, because those decisions directly and indirectly affect us. They directly affect us in terms of maybe our employment model and whether we're furloughed or not, but they also affect our customers. When they affect our customers, it's us as travel advisors that step in and help the customer and have to pick up the pieces. So I think the travel industry overall, I know there were some not great stories last year about refunds and times of refunds, but overall, the travel industry, and particularly those on the front line of the travel industry, have done an outstanding job in supporting their customers in managing changes through which we've had no control whatsoever.
Yeah. And those are the things you'd like to have seen. Obviously, we've got a review coming up, which we anticipate in the start of October, where hopefully we may see some simplification of the system for international travel around testing for double vaccinated passengers, etc. So, and you said you're still lobbying. So is that something you're pushing for, as well as this sector-specific support that you talk about? And are you hopeful that we'll get any changes? I mean, we've been banging on, haven't we, for months for them to listen to us, and we've got this review coming. And are you hopeful that will be a good outcome there?
I think there are two things. I think that it's pretty clear that people are being driven by data. So I think the fact that you've got such a low percentage of people who are coming back to the country who are testing positive, I think is hugely encouraging. We need that trend to continue, because the testing was put in place to try and identify whether there were variants of the virus. That was the rationale. And it doesn't make any sense if you've been double vaccinated to have those tests if otherwise that's not the case. So you can only hope that the data over a period of time gives people confidence to simplify the system, and then enable us to have an arrangement in the UK that is consistent with the EU and then consistent with the states. And then in terms of specifics, then we're all hoping, aren't we, that the US is on the list, because that will, I think, give everyone a great fillip. Customers, people have not been able to see family and friends, etc. While albeit, and we know, you can do some business travel now. From a leisure point of view, that would be hugely beneficial. I think the other thing just to bear in mind, we've all been at the sharp end of this. We were chatting before we went live about how it's affected Travel Weekly and things you've had to do and adjust. It's all affected us commercially and personally. I think we've all learned that we'll have an opinion on things. We have to do our best to influence things in a way that is right for our customers and our people. But we should focus on the things that we can control. Some things that we can't control, and we can't let every government announcement and every pronouncement by someone on stage influence and determine our attitude towards life, our attitude towards our customers. There are things that we can take control of, which are our attitude, our ability to help our customers, to help each other get through this. So my advice is, do what you need to do to lobby, to support, to make your opinion heard, but don't let that dominate or influence your approach to all of this, because it's your attitude that's going to see you through it.
Yeah, wise words. Okay, and you mentioned the States there, and yes, obviously that's one that we want the whole world to open up, but that will be key. But just talk to me about, you said you're having some people booking for the end of this season. I'm sure you're getting some good forward bookings. Can you identify any trends at all in terms of where people are booking, durations? Are they spending more? Just is anything you're noticing that as we come out of this, that's slightly sort of surprised you or changed at all?
Well, it's a great time for a customer to book, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a great time for a customer to book a holiday. I mean, particularly some of the short haul product. I mean, the flight prices are super competitive, and there is availability. So I think it's a great time for a customer to book, and we're seeing that in our figures and so.
And you're talking about sort of the to depart in the next month or so. Yeah.
You're seeing, it's all relatively, isn't it? So, but relatively compared to, where we were 2 or 3 months ago and where we were last year, you're seeing really good positive demand for, Spain and other European hotspots where there's really good availability and good pricing. So that's really positive from a short-term point of view. And people are now booking now to go this month, go in October, and then you're starting to see momentum build for winter and next year. Now next summer is slightly misleading because you had a lot of people who've rebooked from the past 2 summers. So, we as a business at the moment are 300% up for summer departures 2022. But I'm not getting too carried away because we've got a lot of people that rebooked.
Yeah.
It's really encouraging those bookings for this winter.
Okay.
So this winter, we've already booked about 55% of what we did in the equivalent of winter 2018-19. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
That's really
good. Yeah.
Really
and what is that? Caribbean and Canaries and
Dubai.
Yeah.
So that to me again is super assuring for people that so long as you can get through, and we've been saying this, haven't we, for a long time, so long as you can get through the next few weeks and months, the propensity for people to book a long haul holiday, a safe destination in every sense to get a winter break is there, so long as people can book it and travel. So that is really good evidence that when other countries come online, that the demand will be there, whether it be the USA or certain parts of the Far East. So we're seeing really good positive demand for this winter, and we've got great figures for next summer. But that's partly influenced by the number of rebookings.
Sure. Okay. And you mentioned a while ago, Steve, about the UK business. I know you pivoted your business well to really sort of push the sort of domestic travel. Is that something that you think you'll continue with, or was that like a short-term fillip while the rest of the world was sort of out of bounds?
Well, I think you've got to position yourself for where do you think the customer will be and be driven by what the customer wants. So I don't expect that. Let me put it an even better way. Put my proper English in my mouth. I do expect that there'll still be a demand for staycations next year, and we'll continue with that. I think it will partly be influenced by the experience that people have had this year.
Yeah.
Of that and what sort of experience they had with where they booked and sort of weather that they had. But colleagues who focus on UK breaks and are having a great time of it, and good luck to them. Good luck to them for next year too. But I think there's no doubt we all expect that summer 22 in terms of overseas travel will be much better than it was in summer 21.
How did your TCs react to the staycations or the round UK sailings that the cruise industry put on? I know cruise is a big part of your business ordinarily, and was that something that you managed to get behind?
It's brilliant, isn't it? I mean, and some of the products and some of the prices that are being available, I mean, it offered and offers incredible value for money for customers, and hats off to the cruise companies for pivoting some of their products to enable that to happen, and that's been great for them. It's been great for customers. So yeah, I mean, our TCs have been adept at jumping onto that and offering it to customers, and we've seen a demand for it. I don't know. I generally don't know how permanent that cruise from the cruise companies, but it's certainly been a short-term opportunity. But I think the takeaway from all of this is being close to the customer, being attuned to what's on the customer's demand, being able to give them solid, independent advice and assurance, and having access to the product that you can tailor make to the need of the customer. So, we've been open for business throughout the summer. So, but we've been making sure that we advise customers in an appropriate way. We've got a duty of care to advise the customer as professionals on what we think is in the customer's best interest, taking into account the prevailing travel advice from government. So that closeness to the customer and the intimacy with the customer that the professional travel advisor forges, even though I know people, when they read your stuff and they look at the announcements and what it may mean for the industry, people have gone through a really torrid and tough time. Every interaction with a customer, whether it's been about a refund or a rebooking or a change, is an investment in that relationship, and you're investing in that emotional bank account with that customer, and that will pay dividends this winter and it'll pay dividends next year too.
Yeah. And are your travel counsellors reporting that they're getting more new business, like new customers, because of what you talk about, this trusted relationship and wanting to have their hand held, and it's obviously been a torrid time? So, you know, I wonder if they're saying actually more people are seeking them out and wishing to book through a travel expert rather than do it themselves online.
I think a lot of travel companies have gone out of their way to, notwithstanding the challenges that they faced, to make sure they look after customer, enhance their reputation, and their brand demanded it before the pandemic, or they've used the pandemic as a way of enhancing that reputation. Not everyone has done that. Not everyone has been in a position to be able to do it, but we have certainly done it, and we've had the affirmation with Which and moneysavingexpert.com. So there is a great opportunity now for professional travel advisors in both leisure and corporate to not only retain the loyalty that has been built over the course of the past 15 months and before that, but also to leverage the advocacy they've got from their existing customers and get more new business. People who have had a bad experience because they've not bought through an intermediary, they've been left on their own, they've not had the hand-holding that they would have wanted, and they can see actually there's an increasing need for hand-holding, that peace of mind where, I've worked hard, I've saved up, I've gone without, and now I do want to experience the world, and I do want to connect with customers. Well, I want to make sure that my trip is safe and secure, and I'm looked after, and I can cater for all eventualities. So the role of the professional advisor, caring advisor, I don't think has ever been needed more, and is strengthened by this. That's the diversity of what we've gone through. So I think the quality professional advisor that builds that trust and does more than just provide service, because I think that's taken as a given, but genuinely is thinking about the customer when they're not thinking about their travel needs, is being proactive in keeping in touch, showing that care, hopping on the phone and speaking to the customer in the evening, even though they're not, they maybe not be at work, but they're just thinking about the customer. All of that, those random acts of kindness that people put in because they just care about the customer, then those people that have been doing that pre-pandemic, during the pandemic, they can look to a brilliant few years ahead. You just need to navigate the next few weeks and months.
Yeah. And at head office then, as travel counsellors, are you sort of encouraging your TCs to now sort of promote themselves in that kind of role to people that perhaps haven't considered using a travel agent before? I wonder, because I know your messaging, you lots of people sort of pulled back from doing too much marketing because at the time it was all about care and just getting people through and getting their booking sorted. But are you now starting to think again about how the travel counsellors promote themselves and market themselves? Is that kicking in yet, or are you still some way off doing any of that?
The travel our travel counsellors come from a wide range of backgrounds, but they share a common DNA, is that they believe in doing the right thing by the customer. And our business model, which is different from most in the industry, in that it's based on advocacy.
Yeah.
So the primary aim of this company, the Travel Counsellors brand, is to keep a customer once we've found them. And our primary aim when we recruit someone into the business is to keep them.
Yeah.
And become advocates of ours. So we get new business through advocacy and through referral and recommendation. We don't spend, and we don't need to go and spend a huge amount of money driving new leads. So that's why our recovery will be stronger than most, and be quicker than most, and better than most, because that loyalty is baked into the relationships with customers. So they're going to book with us, and they're going to refer us to other customers. So our opportunity is to make more of the brand that we've got. So a lot of companies want to go through a process of investing in the brand, raising awareness with a view that ultimately they've built that advocacy. We've already got the advocacy. What we don't have is the awareness, because we don't spend money on above the line.
Right. Yeah.
We don't have high street presence, etc. We don't do lots of advertising. But there's absolutely no doubt that the opportunity for us to raise awareness of the brand through referrals and through networking and through advocacy, both digitally and in analog channels, is huge. And that is something that we'll be doing, as a company over the course of the next couple of years. And we're investing in our support team here in Venus, in some of the senior talent that we've got here and the people around them, so that we can put the right things in place in terms of the marketing toolkit that our travel council got access to raise that awareness through them.
Yeah.
To get more.
They'll raise it individually around them as a brand,
yeah,
rather than you doing it as travel councils, because it's this word of mouth and advocacy you're talking about.
We'll raise it virally through the power of the network and through the advocacy from our customers, because both on the leisure and corporate side, we believe strongly that the individual travel counsellor and the company as a result, because we only function as a company because of the brilliant people that we've got, they have got I think, the best position in both the leisure and corporate market, because they build that trust and they build those relationships. And those relationships are deeply appreciated by customers, and customers stay with them and will want to refer to them. Our job is to support them in those endeavours, but it rests and falls on the power and the brilliance of the people that we've got as travel counsellors, who are building those relationships and providing that care to their customers.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's just talk about the network then, because I think before you were very candid and you said, look, some people wouldn't make it, and we just spoke there, didn't we? It was all about it'll be great if you can get through. So where are you up to now? I know that, as you say, you've lost a few, but you were also getting loads of people joining or contacting you with an interest in joining. So what are you like on numbers now?
Yeah, if you go back to 16, 17 ago, we said, our strategy was to, what do we need to do from a financial point of view to make sure that we can navigate our way through this, which obviously clearly we have done. And the second goal was to make sure we retain as many of our people as possible.
Yeah.
As we delivered that, and we put loads of things in place to support people with our investment in mental health and financial welfare fund, and the community helping each other, and so on and so forth, and real visible leadership and clear and authentic communications. And the final thing was then to go out as we rebuild the business. We don't just want to get back to where we were at, we make it even better. So in terms of that second strand of the strategy, we've currently got just shy of 2,000 travel counsellors globally.
Yeah.
About 1,400 in the UK, and that's about 50, 60 more than we had at the start of the pandemic. So, and I'm using round numbers. We've lost about 100, and we've recruited about 150, something like that. So I think that's a really positive outcome. Now, that is a function of the resilience of the travel counsellor, which reflects the resilience that many people in the industry have shown. I think it's born out of their passion for the industry and their desire to stay in an industry that they love. And I think strengthened by the fact that they know they've got customers who are saying that as soon as I can travel, I am going to travel. And I also hope it's a great reflection on the way that we've conducted ourselves and the way that we've supported people to help them to get through it. But at travel counsellors, I'm not saying we are unique in this, but at travel counsellors, the great beauty of being a travel counsellor is that you've got your own business, but you're part of something that's bigger than yourself, and you have got access to a community of 2,000 people. Now, you may not access all 2,000, but you'll have access to a network of 5, 10, 15, 20, 50, whatever, who you will build friendships with, who will support you along the way. And that could be the shoulder to cry on when you're having a bad hair day. It could be something much more serious than that, something's happening in your personal life. And it also could be advice and help on getting a booking over the line. So the biggest single thing that I think that has helped travel counsellors emerge from this in such great shape has been the power of that community and how people have helped each other through this. And that community is bigger now than it was at the start of it.
Yeah. And with the end of furlough approaching fast at the end of this month, you know, obviously we may see more people leaving travel businesses. Are you anticipating any sort of another wave of applicants or people contacting you saying that they'd quite like to consider, you know, being a travel counsellor as by way of staying in the industry, but working for themselves under the Travel Counsellors brand?
Yeah, I mean, we don't know what's going to happen in terms of end of furlough. You might have a better feel for that than me. I mean, we want to.
I know there's lots of people who are very worried.
Yeah.
You know. So. Yeah.
Sure. I mean, I think and it's been a really tough time, hasn't it? And we've not been immune from it at all. I think our job is to make people aware that they've got choices. You know, it's not our job to convince people to do something that isn't right for them and isn't in their medium-term or long-term interest of them and their family. But we have got lots of people who have joined as travel counsellors, who have joined us because they decided to leave something, or they've been forced to leave something out of a factor out of their control. But they, out of that time of upset, they've created something really, really good for themselves. So our job is to spread the word through our travel counsellors and our network to make sure that people can come and speak to us, and we can give them a really honest overview about what life is like as a travel counsellor, what is entailed, and then they can make an informed decision for them. But for experienced travel sales consultants who love travel, got a passion for travel, who believe in the longevity of travel, and I think people should believe in the longevity of travel, who believe in their own ability, then yes, they can speak to a company like Travel Counsellors and find out more. And I've no doubt that, you know, we will attract our fair share of people, but we've never been interested in chasing numbers. It takes a certain type of person to act themselves to be self-employed, and also to have the commitment to provide the customer service and build the relationships that makes our travel counsellors and others in the industry stand out that do that. So we're looking for really good, talented, caring people who care about their customers. And if they want to talk to us, they'll be very, very welcome. But they'll given a very honest appraisal of what we do and the support that we offer, so they can make an informed decision about whether it's right for them.
Yeah. Because
obviously in the industry, that's the great thing.
Sorry,
if they face duress and the stress of furlough and what that might mean, it doesn't have to be the end for them in the industry. I think that's a really important message. Yeah,
absolutely. I totally agree. I was going to ask you, because obviously you're the original home-based travel agency group, but there's, you know, it's become very popular, hasn't it, working from home? We've all had to do it, and I think some people have gone, oh, actually, I quite like this. And so we've seen lots of models either within other organizations, but they're developing some home working models, or there's totally new companies springing up. You know, what do you make of that, Steve? I mean, particularly if they've got kind of lower barriers to entry. I mean, you talked about how you want people to be really experienced and they've got to be caring and passionate. You've got quite a few criteria. So what do you make of all these other companies or sort of divisions that other people are setting up?
Great. I think if it helps people find a home for themselves that is better or as good as or better than other alternatives, if, for example, they're facing the horror of redundancy, then brilliant. I mean, I think it's great. I think the whole move towards greater flexibility and smarter working is got to be encouraged, and you know, we've been doing it for a long time. So I think great. I think about it from the person point of view. If those people find a better home for themselves, they can have a better quality of life with another company or with us. I think that's brilliant. To me, that is not the real strategic thing here. You can have a great business with everyone working in the office. Travel Weekly is a great business. Everyone was in the office, I guess.
We're getting back there, just not today, but we're definitely starting to be back in the office, and it's lovely to see everyone again.
You can have a really poor business with everyone being in the office.
Yeah.
So to me, the key thing is the culture. So what culture are you part of? What does it feel like to be part of company? What does it stand for? How does it operate? How does it behave? What's its commitment like to customers? Does it deliver what it's going to? Does it deliver what it said it's going to deliver? What's it like when times get tough? Does it provide a shoulder support when you need it most? So that to me has got nothing to do whether you're working from home or not. It's about your operating style as a business and your values. And my role as the CEO of Travel Counsel, which allegedly is my role sometimes, that you're taxed with three things. Have you got a clear strategy, which you evolve according to circumstances, and can you articulate that strategy? People buy into it, and is it successful? Secondly, what's your approach to people like, and are you able to attract and retain the very best talent and give people a platform to shine? And then the third element is your culture. So what culture emanates from you as the leader? What culture are you building on and building from? So to me, they're the really important things that people should be thinking about. The fact that there are more people working from home, great. The fact that more people offer working from home, and competitors of ours, great. I think that's brilliant for people to have choice. Our job is to make sure that we attract the very, very best, because we've got a great strategy, we're brilliant at people, and we've got a wonderful culture.
Yeah. And I was going to ask you if you'd noticed, suppliers upping their game or changing the way they work, because more people are now moving to perhaps working from home, and perhaps they're already used to it working with you guys. They would have bespoke programs, wouldn't they, to work with Travel Counsel? We know that. But do you think that tour operators will have to kind of change the way they work to make sure they get to the right people and to train them and to educate them in the way they want to now?
I think it's been incredibly tough for people, navigating the financial implications of this, honouring a set of commitments to customers, dealing with a massive peak in workload.
Yeah.
So the workload in travel has been huge. Even though we haven't been doing lots of new bookings, the workload's been massive in rebooking and refunding. So I'm sure every travel business and every leader is working through, how do I make sure I can use to get through this and navigate this on a daily basis, and from a cash point of view, and then increasingly think about what does the rebuild look like for me, and reimagining where they want this business to be in 3 to 5 years time. I think one thing that binds us all together is passion for travel. I think that's in most people, and we're all competitors in a healthy way for talent. So, and that comes down to, I think, the economic model that you've got. Has it got longevity? How good are you at keeping customers, and also the culture that you've got? And I'm not sure other people are vexing on that in the same way that I am. I think our starting position is really, really good, because it was always really, really good, and we've enhanced it during this business. And I try to take a broader view when we chat about the industry rather than just travel counsellors. But if I put my biased hat on, this business, because of the quality of its people, relationship with customers, is in the best position above anyone else to recover quickly from this, because we've got the people and the part of the community that can help and support them.
Okay, all right. And in terms, you mentioned there about how suppliers might have to change their 3 to 5 year strategy. How much of your 3 to 5 year strategy is just going to continue, or how much are you going to change as a business in light of what we've been through? Is it more of the same, or have you thought actually we could do some things quite differently now that you've had a chance to sort of sit back and reflect?
No, I think it's like running a business it's a question of scale compared to running your own individual finances. So, everyone financially has been impacted by this to varying degrees. And you thought it made you think about things. Some people are thinking about, I'm going to live for today now. You'll be thinking, blimey, that was really tough. I need to make sure I start saving for a rainy day. People have had moments of reflection. So we're no different. There's no doubt that there's things that we were doing before the pandemic that we would just have accepted, and now we think, no, why were we doing that? Doesn't make any sense to do it. So there's a myriad of things that we want to do to tighten things and improve things, but it's all centered around because of our model, what can we do to improve the experience and the quality of lives that we give our travel counsellors, so they can improve the experience that they give their customers. So that is our primary focus. And then how can we share what we do so we attract more people into the community and attract more customers? So that hasn't really changed, but some of the things that we are doing are changed, but the focus hasn't changed. It's all...
the overall strategy is the same, but you might have plugged in some different things. So I know a couple of things we've talked about or we've written about. You might want to elaborate on them. You've got this new collaboration platform that you've launched, and then you've also got a new model for BDMs that I think that was the springtime. But maybe talk about those things, or any new initiatives that you've got coming up, Steve, that you're prepared to tell us about. But we love knowing new things that you're doing.
Yeah, no, we've taken. We're very blessed, really, in terms of the quality of people that we've got in our senior team. So we've had the ability to take a step back and think about, the model that we've got and the platform of support that we provide, and we've bundled it up into different groups, and we're working our way through those to see where can we improve things. So TC World is our new community platform. The company already had a great intranet, but it's been there for some time. So we've upgraded that to encourage collaboration and knowledge sharing between our travel counsellors. So that's great. We want to support our corporate TCs. We believe that we've got a great opportunity to increase market share, because we do believe we're the market leader in the small to medium-sized corporate part of the corporate sector. So we're investing and expanding. People come in who go out and win business, feed that out to travel counsellors. We're taking a fresh look at the booking experience in our Phoenix platform. How can we make that better? We're looking at our operational support model and how can we make that even more personal. We're looking at all of our websites and the apps that we provide our leisure and corporate customers. We're looking at our technology stack. How can we overhaul that? Where can we invest in that? And probably a few things I've forgotten to mention. So we're in a process of continuous improvement. We've got the ability to invest in the business, but it is all centered back on making sure it's enhancing the experience for the customer, enhancing the experience for the travel counsellor. So it's exciting time. We haven't shared a lot of the plans yet with our travel counsellors. There will be other great stuff that we're doing that happily share and chat with you about. Not anything to sort of reveal today, but the business is going on a program of continuous improvement over the course of the next 2 to 3 years, so that in 2 to 3 years' time we can look back and say we built something that's great, even better than we had before, that provides a platform for it to go on for the next 5-10 years. And that's the perspective that we've got in the business. Now, finding time to have that type of vision, now talking about it now, if you'd asked me that 12 months ago, I'd have got to give me a break. I'm just focusing on getting through the next few months.
Yeah.
But we've got great people in the business, and we put our minds to where we want to.
And it's good to hear. I mean, I know it's still really tough, don't get me wrong, and I know this, we're all really busy, but it feels like you are now got a little bit of breathing space to start looking at those other things then, and it's not quite the sort of, oh God, we've just got to deal with rebooks and cancellations and stuff. There's that little bit more.
Yeah, we've had that, I think, for 12 months now.
Yeah, that's good.
I think for 12 months now we've been working on a program of change and evolution. What we didn't know is to what extent the pandemic would start to, the impact of that would start to dissipate. That's clearly gone on longer than we all expected, and there's been lots of bumps along the way. So that's meant operationally there's still been lots of work for all of us to do. But over the period of the past 12 months, we've been spending an increasing proportion of our time thinking about where do we want to be and where do we want to invest, and then getting on with some stuff in the middle of this. So we're very much now focused on the future, but still attending to making sure that individuals at the moment maybe still having a tough time. So what can we do to support them through it?
And are there some individuals that are really, I don't just mean, I mean, you'll hear obviously your own guys, but you'll hear about the industry. Are you aware of people that really still are, on the edge because it's gone on for so much longer and because we haven't had some support? Do you think, as an industry, do you think we still have got a tougher time to go through?
I think there's definitely everyone, to varying degrees, will have been affected by this, and there's no doubt some people have gone and are going through some really tough times, and that's why, you know, that community, that support, and then the company where it can providing support that someone would be comfortable in drawing on, I think is super important. I think our financial welfare fund has helped over 200 people, for example, directly put in money, or in some cases it's been IT equipment for their children into their own home. We've put mental health services in place, private and confidential support. We had that before, we've extended it.
Yeah.
So, you know, lots of people have drawn on that. There've been more than I will know, and I don't know the number, will have drawn on support from each other.
Yeah.
But it's been a huge test of emotional resilience, and there's nothing wrong with, for a period of time, needing support and help and asking for it. And, you know, we just encourage people to shout if they need that help. But it's really important you create a culture where people can say, listen, I don't feel great. You know, where can I go to for help? So there's no doubt that is continuing, and that support's got to be needed. So the things that we put in place are continuing. They're not ending next month, but they're there for the foreseeable future, for as long as is needed, which may be forever.
That was going to be my next question, how long you saw those.
We carry on until we think people no longer need it. And if one person needs it, then it carries on as far as I'm concerned. But at a macro level, the general trend now is one of recovery. The debate is not about will it recover.
Yeah.
The debate is about how quickly will it recover, how quickly will you recover, and how well will you recover. So how well will you recover in terms of the volume of business you're able to transact in the business that you want to be in, because not every booking is the same, and then the quality of the relationships that you're able to burn. There's no point in having a high turnover of customers. You want to find a customer and then keep them. So the way you recover, the quality of the recovery, I think is key. The momentum now is on the pace of recovery rather than if the recovery will happen. Therefore, I think the general sentiment I'm trying to get across is one of assurance and hope. But it doesn't mean that you yourself may be in a difficult position because of where you are with your individual business, or if you're on furlough. So fully empathetic towards that, and let's hope that you're able to get the support that you need. But generally, the industry now, I think, should be hopeful and positive about the recovery, is my personal position.
Yeah, I know, conscious of time, Steve, just a couple more things I just wanted to ask you. I know some of your TCs would have been very focused, say, on cruise or just on certain sectors. Do you think, given what we've been through, and then obviously having some things that are just off sale, have you sort of been urging people to broaden their knowledge and what they might be keen to sell or be expert at, try and become experts in a wider range of things, given what we've been through and the restrictions?
Yeah, the travel counsellors run their own business, so they decide.
Yeah.
So we can't.
But in terms of your advice, in terms of helping them to make sure that they do come out of this.
Well, going back to the start of the conversation, you try and put yourself in the shoes of the individual. So, the individual has seen their individual, and we've all seen our collective business from an income point of view decimated for a prolonged period of time, albeit it's now recovering. So you do what you need to do to get through it. So if that means that you need to take other paid income, then you do that. Others have stuck with it. If you want to stick to your travel, then you pivot. So what does that mean? Or you're adapting, you're flexible, you're entrepreneurial. So you may sell more UK staycations rather than before. If you're in a corporate, you might have some corporate customers where it's clear they're not going to travel for a period of time.
Yeah.
There are other corporate customers who will travel, so you go and find those types of customers. If you only sold cruise, then you've got a decision to make. Do you don't sell cruise, or do you start to sell something else? Everyone will make their decision. Our job is to advise them what they need to do to be able to make those decisions and give them the product to be able to do it. So we have got travel counsellors now who were selling cruise, who are now doing more non-cruise. We've got corporate TCs who are doing a bit of leisure. We've got corporate TCs who've got corporate customers who are travelling, finding more corporate business. We provide the support to enable them to make those decisions, but it's it's their decision. It's their business.
Okay. We talked a little bit about the things you're working on to constantly improve your business. But in terms of the future of the industry, obviously one of the big things hanging over us is ATOL reform. And we've talked about that before. What you felt would be, where things perhaps were exposed in this crisis and what needs to change. What are have your views changed at all? Where are you at with what the industry, how the industry needs to change to make sure we're totally looking after the customer in future?
Well, I think we've seen the movement by the CAA and on the consultation. So you can see the direction of travel to move towards a combination of trusts and bonds to provide that financial guarantee to customers, and the extent to which it's implemented has an impact on individual companies' working capital. So we were fortunate, along with a few number of others, that we weren't using customer money to fund our working capital. We had that in place before the pandemic. That is the direction of travel, and that is to be encouraged. And we've been supportive of that in the way that we've responded to the CEA. I think it's in everyone's interest if the industry can say it's got an unequivocal scheme of financial protection for a customer when they book their travel, no matter how they have booked it, though, whether direct or through an intermediary. And I think we all have to do what we can to move and support that.
Yeah, because you were talking right at the start about reputation and how obviously there was a few hiccups at the start with certain companies, but actually you're saying that we really have worked very hard to look after people. But I just wonder, that's what we hope people see, but I wonder if that, the reputation of the industry has been sort of damaged, and whether things like, new financial protection scheme, a universal one that everyone can be very assured of, is that something that would be useful?
I think it's a powerful thing to be able to say that you're part of something where you, the customer, your money is financially protected. So if you don't receive what you're going to get, what you paid for, you'll get your money back. And the company is so financially secure, it's not using your money to run the business. I think they are two powerful things to say. And I'd be thinking, if I was an agency owner or a travel consultant, I'd want to be part of a business that can say that to customers.
Yeah. All right. Okay. I'm conscious of time, Steve. We could carry on chatting, couldn't we? But we better leave it there. I'll just wheel you out in another 6 months' time, and we'll see what's happening then, if that's okay.
Well, listen, in 6 months' time, it'll be even better than it is today. That's got to be the case, hasn't it?
Yeah. Well, I think we've definitely moved, haven't we, from when we were speaking before? It's great to what you're saying about how it's now not a case of when, but it's definitely going to happen. So yeah, thank you for your time, Steve.
Thank you.
Good luck with everything you're doing, and we look forward to speaking to you again soon.
Thanks very much.
All right, Steve. Thank you.